The valet handed over the keys with a polite nod, but Mark Harrison barely noticed. His mind was racing with figures, deadlines, and the endless pressure of being one of the most powerful CEOs in the country. Billion-dollar deals, boredom battle. This was the world he lived in. But the moment he opened the trunk of his sleek black car, his entire world stopped. Inside, curled up like a frightened kitten, was a little girl. Her hair was messy, her cheeks streaked with tears, and her eyes, those wide, terrified eyes, locked onto his. Mark staggered back. "What in God's name?" "Please, see, broken bar, don't hurt me," she whispered, her voice trembling. His chest tightened. No, a broken bar, I'm not going to hurt you." He dropped his briefcase onto the ground, crouching to her level. "Sweetheart, what's your name?" She shook her head and clutched a small stuffed rabbit so tightly her knuckles turned white. She didn't answer. For the first time in years, the man who commanded entire boardrooms had no words. It would have been so easy to call security, to hand this strange problem over to someone else. That's what CEOs did, delegate, move on. But as Mark looked at the little girl, something inside him broke. She couldn't have been more than 6 or 7. Her clothes were wrinkled, her shoes too small, and there was a look in her eyes he recognized at a broken bar because once, long ago, he had seen it in the mirror. Fear, loneliness, the memory of his own childhood, the nights spent in foster homes, the hunger, the ache of being unwanted. He rushed back like a wave. He couldn't just walk away. "Come on, sweetheart," he said gently, extending a hand. "Let's get you out of here." For a moment, she hesitated. Then, slowly, she reached for him. Mark took her inside his penthouse suite, far away from the flashing cameras and the chaos of his corporate world. His assistant nearly fainted when she saw him carrying a child through the marble lobby, but he waved off the questions. He tried everything: cookies, cartoons, gentle words, but the girl remained silent. Hours later, just as he was about to give up, she finally whispered her name. "Lily." Mark smiled. "That's a beautiful name. Do you know how you ended up in my car?" Her lips quivered, and then the truth spilled out in broken pieces. Her mother had been struggling in no home, no money, no help. Desperate to protect her daughter, she had hidden Lily in the back of a luxury car at the mall, hoping whoever owned it might be kind enough to help. She had whispered through the trunk before it closed, "Don't be afraid, baby. Maybe this way someone will finally see you." And in a broken bar she was gone. Mark sat frozen, every word striking deeper than the last. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't random. This was a cry for help. All his life, Mark had chased success because it meant never going hungry again, never being powerless. But here was a child living the very pain he thought he had escaped forever. And suddenly, it wasn't about stock prices or market shares anymore. It was about Lily. He could have called child services, he could have written a check to some charity and washed his hands of the whole ordeal. But as Lily fell asleep on his couch, clutching that worn-out rabbit, Mark realized something. The world didn't need another billionaire chasing more power. It needed people willing to show up. So he did. Mark hired investigators to find Lily's mother. When they did, they discovered a woman exhausted, broken, but still fighting to keep her child safe. She hadn't abandoned Lily. She had gambled on the kindness of a stranger because she had run out of options. And for once, the gamble had paid off. Mark didn't just reunite them. He gave them a home. He paid for Lily's education, her healthcare, her future. He created a foundation in her name, one that funded shelters, food banks, and programs for single mothers across the country. When reporters asked why, the answer was simple: because I opened a trunk and found what I'd been missing my whole life. A reminder that wealth means nothing if it isn't used to lift someone else up. Years later, Lily would tell the story herself. She would stand on a stage, tall and confident, her voice steady as she addressed crowds of students. "I was just a scared little girl in the trunk of a car," she would say, "but someone saw me, someone cared, and that changed everything." The audience would wipe away tears, and Mark, older now, but still standing tall, would watch with pride, because in saving her, he had saved himself too. In the end, the story wasn't about a millionaire CEO at all. It was about humanity, about what happens when one person chooses compassion over convenience, kindness over comfort, and about a little girl named Lily, who reminded the world that sometimes, the smallest voices can create the loudest echoes. True wealth isn't in what we keep, it's in what we give.